Something that is really interesting to look at is the impact of the excuses that we use in life. What I mean by this is in any of those situations where somebody invites you to do something or asks you to do something, and for some reason or another, the answer is no, like your gut feeling is no, or your choice is no. Again, whatever it may be, maybe it's you don't resonate with that person or that particular activity. Maybe it's just you're not feeling it today in particular. Whatever it is, when we bring in a different excuse instead of just speaking directly into the reason, the truth of the situation, the truth of our needs or our preferences, whenever we bring in a different excuse, such as, I'm just super tired today, so I'm going to have to pass this time around. So sorry, I would have loved to make it. When we bring in that excuse of, I'm too tired, or business is so stressful, or I have to help this other person with this other thing, I don't really want to, but I've got to, so I'm sorry I can't join you in that. Whatever that other thing is that we're grabbing to bring forward and replace in place of the truth, well, number one, we are diluting the power of our word. We're diluting our integrity in the way that we're showing up in life and for that particular person, for that particular relationship. Which maybe the other person doesn't know that we're doing that. They think that that's the actual reason that we're grabbing and bringing in instead of the truth. But on some level, there is an impact that's had between you and that person and between you and the universe when we go and reach and grab for something that is of lesser truth, of lesser integrity. And what also happens is whatever those excuses and justifications are, we're actually keeping that in our life to some degree when we use it as an excuse, when we use it and share it. What I mean by that is on some level, it's benefiting us to be tired, to have a stressful job, to have the stressful situation in our life, to have a chaotic moment. It's benefiting us because we're able to use it over here instead of learning the skill of checking in with our need and communicating directly to this person and trusting that they have the capacity to honor and respect that choice, which that's kind of a whole nother exploration and video in itself. But what's happening is that excuse, that justification is benefiting us because we can use it over there. And so energetically what we're doing is we're keeping that around. I'm keeping tired and fatigue readily available. I'm keeping stress in the business readily available. I'm keeping stress in this relationship or chaotic moments or things that happen readily available so that I can use them. So it's benefiting me in some way. And so what we have the opportunity to do is notice what are those things that we're using as reasons why we're choosing not to do something. And do we actually want those things in our life? And if we don't, then it becomes this practice of awareness in that moment when I'm about to send the message or I'm about to pick up the call or I'm about to say this to somebody. Hey, sorry, I can't do it because of blah, blah, blah. It's in that moment that I catch myself. It's very easy when we're sending a message and I notice, oh, that's one of the things that I've been using as an excuse that I don't actually want to be prevalent in my life anymore. I'm not going to send that. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. I'm not going to share that with this person because it's not the full truth and I don't want that in my life anymore. I'm consciously choosing to say, no, I'm not going to use that anymore. I'm not going to keep passing that on. I'm not going to keep diluting my integrity and the power of my word. And I'm not going to keep being inauthentic in this relationship. I'm going to choose that in this moment, as soon as I become aware that that's happening, I'm going to choose to check in with myself and ask, what is the truth here? what is the reality of the situation? It's that I don't resonate with that activity. Thank you so much for inviting me, but this particular thing I'm honestly just not interested in. Or if somebody is looking to spend time with you, that you just don't want to spend time with that particular person. So I appreciate the invitation and I'm going to pass this time. Or if somebody's asking for your support with something and something just feels off, or you feel like, they've been asking for your support a lot and it feels a little imbalanced in the relationship, whatever the truth is, connecting with that and communicating from that place. And what that does is that strengthens our word, the power of our word. We create through our language, through the words that we speak. And the more congruent that we are, the more powerful it becomes. And so enough of this wishy-washy, like I'm just going to say this and it's not going to matter, the other person won't know, it's not going to do anything, blah, blah, blah. It makes a difference. It makes a really big difference. And it can be felt almost immediately when I choose truth over the excuse. And the other people on some level, they can feel it too. And the universe can feel it too. And so, with that, this becomes an opportunity, and we don't need to be hard on ourselves or judge ourselves or analyze ourselves or pressure ourselves for noticing, oh, we're doing it again. It gets to be lighthearted. It gets to be curious. It gets to be compassionate, like, oh, whoa, I was about to do that again, and I caught it. How cool is that? Now this becomes an opportunity for growth, for acting in alignment, for acting in integrity, for acting in a new way, and I choose this. So another level of this, another part of this is the power dynamic at play. Let's say somebody invites us or requests us to do something that it's a clear no, and we feel a strong obligation or expectation. That's a power dynamic where they have power over us and we have power under, and we're choosing that on some level. When we take an excuse and we pass that on, we're saying, you can keep having the power, I'm going to keep giving the excuses and I'm going to fall victim to that, instead of standing strong in my truth and speaking directly. So that's just a little snippet. Something that I felt called to share is the theme of excuses and the opportunity that we have to work with this and to evolve into a new way of being, a new way of behaving, a new way of showing up in the world for ourselves, for others, for all that is. It makes a difference. And I can also imagine a society where we're all acting in that integrity, speaking from truth versus the other, the contrast of the, I'm just going to say this, it doesn't really matter, it doesn't really make an impact, but like it actually is, it actually does. And so in an upcoming video, we can explore now on a practical level, what is it like to have those conversations? How do we word that to somebody when we've always been using these excuses? How do we change that in practicality? How do we trust that the other person is going to be able to respect that? How do we start to rewire and rework our relationships so that we can be surrounded by people who do fully honor the truth and us in our alignment? And how do we start creating secure attachment versus this anxious or avoidant attachment? So we can start to look at those conversations on a deeper level, on a more practical level, rather, in a future video. But for now, we as a community get to practice noticing what are the excuses that have been unconsciously being used, and do we really want those things to be persistent on our lives? And if not, then it's a choice point. We get to notice and choose. I'm not going to use that anymore. I'm going to check in and share the truth. All right, love. That's the message for today. I hope it resonates with you. I trust it will land with anybody who it's meant to land with. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Please give this video a thumbs up if you do resonate, and comment your experiences with this topic. Excuses. What's happening in this area for you? What have you noticed? Comment down below, and I'll talk to you soon. Mwah!